last time we found out we stowed away on the ship to Britain, and then we ended up being accused of murdering our friend Asogi. And we did a bunch of investigating, and we did get to play a new game mechanic. I don't know what it's called, great deduction, but that was fun. We're still on the ship. Let's continue the investigation. I can't believe he threw us out. And I can't believe we didn't manage to learn anything about that speckled band. Not being able to fully investigate that cabin didn't help matters either. First of all, now, that sailor is watching us even more closely than he was before. Yep, I just started. I'm using my Yeti mic, so let me know if it actually sounds different. More like he's staring daggers at me. Oh, come to think of it. What's the matter? Where did that great detective of yours run off to? Ah, now that you mention it, I haven't seen him skulking about for a while now. When did he slip away? He dutifully cuffed me again, then vanished into thin air. Oh, I guess I'll talk to him. I really want to investigate Nikumina's cabin. Well now, you look like you are really wanting something. Yeah? Are you looking to be thrown out of this cabin again, friend? No. I assure you, that's certainly not the case at all. Next time I have to toss you out, you go straight into the ocean. Do not forget it. I'll be sure to remember that. Really gain a little. I don't think I should be getting anywhere near that door until he forgets what I look like. I don't exactly think that he'll be forgetting that anytime soon. I guess we go back. First class, cabin 1. This is our room. It was never your room. It's Kazuma's room. Huh? The only space you can really claim as your own in there is the wardrobe. Yeah, and it was so cramped I could barely even fit inside. That's the life of a stowaway. Oh, that reminds me. I wonder if Detective Hosonaga has found any new clues or leads in Asogi's cabin yet. You can always head inside and compare notes with him about the investigation again. Let's see. The travel menu is interesting. Looks like they're still investigating the scene. That reminds me. I wonder if Detective Hosonaga is still alive. What? How do we... What? What do you mean by that? Naruhodo, have you forgotten already? Oh, that's right, he was gonna give his life to convince the captain to let us investigate. In order to grant you, a prisoner, the opportunity to investigate freely, he said something like, I will give my very life, if only to persuade the captain. Oh, you're right. He did say that. Well, I figured the give my very light part was just an exaggeration. Should we go check in with them then? He might have some new information for us. Oh, this is not. You, where have you been? Sir, I was over in the next cabin, performing an investigation. And just who gave you permission to do that? It was a sailor named Hosonaga. The new guy? I swear I'll roll him up into a ball and throw him into the freezer to cool him down for a while. He already ran off again. Is Detective Hosonaga really going to be shoved into a freezer? I feel deeply indebted to him for this. When we return home, I'll make sure to order him a beefsteak at La Quantos. Somehow, I feel as though we are still a long way from making it back to Japan. Oh, he's hiding behind the screen transition. We got beat up. Welcome back. Detective Hosonaga. What's happened to you? Your face looks terrible. Yes. Please don't be alarmed. It's just a few bumps and bruises. I don't think I'd describe that as just a few bumps and bruises at all. As I was reporting to the captain in regards to the permission I gave you to investigate, the crew started to jeer at me for it. Punch him in the face and throw him overboard. What? Soon, though, he decided to be content with only the punches, as you can now see. That's all it was, though. Nothing to be worried about. I guess he wasn't joking around when he said he put his life on the line. Thanks to you, we now understand the situation in the neighboring cabin much better. Ah, so I've heard. Huh? Just a little earlier, a man billing himself as a great detective informed me of events. As I recall, he said that his name was B. Sherlock Holmes, or something similar. I knew it. That man is everywhere. Anyway, since we're all here, would you like to compare notes? Yes, a wonderful idea. Can you believe it? Nikomina Borskevich is in the cabin right next to us. Oh? You know who she is? A lover of ballet, it would be impossible to not have heard of that lovely fairy. You got mad at me. Moving on, it seems settled that the adjacent cabin has no relation to the incident. Huh? Why do you say that? A lovely fairy could not possibly do evil. The classic Ace Attorney trope of pretty women cannot possibly commit any kinds of evil or murder or crime. You got mad at me again. Excuse me, but has the investigation on this side made any further advancements? To be perfectly honest, there's not much we are able to do right now. We have our hands full ensuring the scene stays untouched until the Hong Kong police arrive. We've been told to keep an eye on things, not to lift our watch for even a second. I see. Oh, I almost forgot. I do have one new piece of information. Oh? Please tell us anything you can. So what is this new information? Here, see for yourself. This is a report that was written by the ship's doctor after his examination of the corpse. Sogi's post-mortem? Kazuma. So, how did he die? The fatal injury should be listed in the report. His neck was broken, it seemed. Yes, about that. As we observed before, the victim had no visible external injuries. Initially, it was presumed that the cause of death was poison. However, the doctor's report states that there wasn't a single trace of poison in his body. Then, what was the murder weapon? That could not be determined, since there were no external injuries. I fear he may have been bludgeoned with some kind of blunt object, but left no wound. I see. The central nervous system connects to the body through the cervical vertebrae. If one received a strong blow there, death without visible injury is not unlikely. Logi. Here, I made a copy of the post-mortem report. Please feel free to take it with you. Huh? Is that really alright? It will be fine. Because I believe in you. Aww. If I didn't, I would not have approved of you stepping foot outside this cabin to begin with, right? That's true. Take a quick look at the post-mortem. See. Trauma to cervical vertebrae, instant death. Instant death. Yeah, no copy here. It was handwritten copy. You know, back in the day, they had very talented copywriters. So instant death, but he wrote a death message. Have we heard of this before? And then later it's gonna be revised postmortem, where the victim didn't die instantly. Oh, so Mr. Holmes came by again while we were gone? Yes, he seemed content inspecting the floor. In fact, he even crawled about for a bit. But after just a few minutes, he gave up and left. He seemed rather restless and impatient. Did that great detective say anything at all? Now that you mention it, he did say one thing in a very loud, boisterous voice. This is shoe polish, he announced, for all the world to hear. Shoe polish? I wonder what that's all about. As I recall, he was over there when he said it. Around where that broken bell is. I keep thinking this is a bell because it looks like a ball. Like when it's zoomed out. Was he referring to those brownish red marks on the floor, detective? Ah, yes, that's right. But how did he know it was shoe polish? I haven't the foggiest. When I asked, his reply was so convoluted. It was so convoluted that made my head spin? What? So convoluted that it made my head spin. Probably report this. Oh, or forget. Something wrong, Suseta? Come to think of it, Kazuma had been wearing a pair of lace-up brownish red knee-high boots. Brownish red. I remember those boots. It was a red so dark, they almost seemed black. He often tended to them with a polish that was a color much like red wine. Ah, so then that would make these the mark of Asogi's shoe polish. I'm afraid this is all I can offer to speak about. I have to return to my post soon. I can feel the sailor's eyes boring a hole into my head. I understand. Thank you very much. You seem rather fatigued, sir. Not at all, friends. I failed in my duty to protect Asogi. I owe you this much. Of course, my suffering is trivial compared to what you two must be going through. Moreover, my head has been hurting since this morning. I've been unable to do anything about it. A headache? Come to think of it, I can still feel that dull, throbbing pain in the back of my head, too. Well? See. Yep. Oh, look, Naruhodo. Mr. Stroganoff is nowhere to be seen. Oh no. The Strogan what? You know, an extremely brawny Russian sailor from before. Ugh. Why do Russian names have to be so tough to remember? La la. What in the... I hear the sound of someone's loud and enthusiastic humming nearby. La la la, the greatest detective of all. That ridiculously obnoxious voice sounds rather familiar. Well, putting aside the singing for a minute, you have a perfect opportunity right here. Yes, let's renew our efforts. We must seize this opportunity to investigate Nikumina's cabin. Right. Let's hurry up and get started before that Mr. Stroga something gets back. It's Mr. Stroganoff. It doesn't look like Nikumina's returned yet. Susato. Huh? Where did she go? Wait, Susato, you can't just... Time isn't on our side here. We have to investigate when we can, where we can. Okay. We're doing this for Asogi after all. Not just for Asogi. Huh? It won't be long before we reach the next port, Hong Kong. Are you sure you still want to be wearing those handcuffs when we arrive? Susato. It's up to us, and us alone, to solve this case. Alright, let's do it. Trunk's open. Ah! The trunk from earlier is wide open. It's entirely empty. But according to the great detective's deductions, Nikomina had to be hiding her friend inside. Yes, she felt compelled to keep that a secret. Because the SS Eau-Claire doesn't allow animals to be brought aboard, right? So what was stuffed into this trunk? And what could have gone since we were last in here? This bag is not. It's probably gonna click on the wardrobe. Naruhodo, are you still here? Yes? I've been here the whole time. Oh, good. I was worried that if I took my eyes off you, you'd go shut yourself up in that wardrobe. Oh. You think I'm some kind of freak who lives just to jump inside of every available wardrobe? From the looks of it, I don't think either of us would fit in here. It's full of beautiful garments. They all look like they're made to be used on stage. Too bad. I was hoping Nikumina's little animal friend would be hiding in here. Actually, I want to check. I can't check the vent. It's like hidden behind the button there. There you go. Well, this air duct is connected to Asogi's cabin, right? Yes. Although, I still don't really understand why it's built that way. Oh, I have an idea. Maybe it's so that, in the unlikely event of a gas leak, the person next door would notice. But wouldn't that mean the person in the other room would also be breathing the gas? Oh, you have a point. Asogi saw a speckled band around that vent last night. I see this door is also equipped with an iron bolt, just like the one in Asogi's cabin. Once the bolt's locked into place, getting entrance into the cabin is impossible. This bolt, it appears to be rather small and light, but it's heavy enough to not slip out of place. And the door is also iron, so you couldn't use a magnet from the outside to move the bolt. I haven't even thought about that. Moreover, the door is sealed to prevent the entry of seawater during an emergency. As a result, the needle and thread trick couldn't be used on this door either. Again, I can see why it's not far-fetched to cast suspicions on me for the crime. These books have all fallen over. Not a single one is left standing. Is that a statuette of the guardian guard of the sea? Hold onto its side. Wait a minute. I feel like we've seen something like this before. Remember Asogi's cabin? Do you think, by any chance, Nikomina knocked all these things over when she was practicing her dancing? Would she really be working on her dancing the first day after she defected? Well then. Did you make her lose her temper, causing her to knock everything down in her fury? Like I've been saying, please stop blaming everything that happens on me. Anyway, let me put things back the way they were. This would also bother me otherwise. Bad idea. Very bad. Alright, let's go. Left side of the map, or room. Uh-oh. Go. There are only a few books on this desk. Well, Nikomina did only just arrive in his cabin last night after all. On that topic, I wonder what kinds of books she reads. Good question. Let's take a look here. It's written in Russian. I could have guessed that was so without hearing it from you. Well, asking me for anything more than that is rather unfair. There's nothing inside the teapot. Russians are known to drink a lot because their throats are always dry, right? More likely, since Nikomina arrived last night, he hasn't had time to make any tea yet. I suppose either one could be correct. But I bet 2 copper coins that it's because their throats are always dry. Now you're just being stubborn, Naruhodo. Someone dropped a dish on the floor. This is probably for her pet. I don't think it fell. It looks like someone placed it there on purpose. Oh, is it really true then? Has the ship sprung a leak here? Huh? Do you think it's okay? Surely it must be. Surely we're still safe, right? Well, even if there was a small leak, I don't think we'd be in danger of sinking. That makes sense, right? Right. We're going to be just fine. Wow. It's the waste paper bin for this cabin. Shall we take a little peek inside? Naruhodo! It's not polite to rummage around in other people's bins. He's looking at me like I'm the only waste around here. Well, I suppose we can make an exception, considering the circumstances. That's right. The circumstances, of course! Yeah. There's hardly any rubbish in here at all, waste paper or otherwise. That is rather disappointing. Nothing in the trash can. I mean, she did only just get here, but she couldn't cut her hair in time. This bag is so suspicious, but it is not examinable. This is the same as the one we saw in Sogi's cabin, isn't it? Yes, it's known as a call bell. Well, let's give it a quick No! Susato just grabbed the rope and yanked at it without any hesitation. Well, it seems nobody came. Just like last time. I'm sure that everyone's still busy. That was not a wise decision. Alright, why don't we examine? Rules? I want to read the rules again. The SS Oxcutter's ship's regulations are also posted here in this cabin. Do not store any dangerous goods, such as weapons or animals, in the cabins. Nikomina must have seen this notice before hiding her animal in the trunk. Her friend, as it were. For now, her friend has disappeared from the trunk and gone missing. I suppose it might be enjoying a leisurely stroll through the ship? Then I pray Mr. Stroganov doesn't find it and decide to throw it into the sea. That would be pretty bad. I feel like I investigated everything of note. Well, time to go outside. I feel like there's more to do in that room then. Where's the dog? I mean, sorry, the pet. It wasn't a dog. I still want to investigate this bag. I can't. I didn't really learn anything from this room this time around. Well, we know the friend is gone, but we don't know what that means. Well, let's go outside. Maybe there's something note there. Wait. I believe we should investigate this area a bit more thoroughly, so I did miss something here. Maybe. Here's the mouse trap. Maybe well, still here, so I guess maybe your pet's not a mouse. Oh. I see. They did mention this earlier. He was singing, and I completely ignored him because I want to, I guess. Ah, that's Mr. Holmes. Wow, you'll never know where he'll pop up next. He appears to be stealing glances at something between hums. La la la, the greatest detective of all. Even though we're clearly staring right at him, he's still singing his heart out. He does seem to be in high spirits. Oh, his name, his wondrous name. Everyone knows it. Nary a soul denies it. Excuse me? Lone yet supreme. Yes, his name is... Sherlock Holmes! Ah! What? You again? Don't disturb people while they're singing. I was just about to reach the crescendo. I mean, he is like super narcissistic, so yeah, he is singing about himself. But you kept building up to his name, but never singing it, so I thought I'd do it for you. You were this close to getting a fistful of my prized right hook. Alright, I get it. Can you please put those fists of fury away now? He's just like spinning his fists. So, Mr. Holmes, you seem to have caught you in the middle of investigating something just now. Ah, yes. I suppose you mean this. Why, this is the ship's log. That outrageously muscular sailor wrote in it before he left. Ship's log? Was there anything unusual written in it? The contents of last night's entry are practically blank after 2 a.m. So in other words, there was nothing out of the ordinary last night. What more could I expect from a Japanese exchange student, clad in darkness? Huh? You've got it backwards, my young friend. What do you mean? If you look at some of the other pages, I think you'll understand. It appears the good sailor's assignment was to keep a close watch on this corridor. Yeah, he's finally moved away from us being a Russian cruel revolutionary or whatever. A typical regulation is to record nothing unusual in the log every 30 minutes or so. Every 30 minutes or so? Nothing unusual. Needless to say, if nothing of note occurred, nothing unusual would be written here. But as it so happens, the log entry for last night is blank. There are no reports at all. So, could it possibly mean that... I believe that last night, a good sailor left this location due to some circumstance. And just what might that circumstance be? Well, I still don't know. I wager it must have been quite the circumstance. So much that it slipped his mind to write nothing unusual in the ship's log afterwards. Surely this information I found will be worth taking note of. He makes us file it at the court record. Looks like his self-proclaimed title as the Great Detective at least has some merit. Now it seems you are finally beginning to grasp why I am the great famous Mr. Holmes. Ow, ow, ow. Is something wrong? No, I'm fine. My head has just been rather heavy today. Perhaps you could say it's pounding. Everyone's head, huh? Well then, lady and gentlemen, may our paths cross again soon. That humming is finally trailing off. What's on your mind, Susato? You seem to be lost in thought. Well, to be honest, mine has been hurting too. Huh? Ever since this morning, my head has felt so heavy for some reason. It's like a constant pounding. You too, then? So they really guide you, like, where to go with the partner text down here. Eek. Ooh. Warning, this is not a drill. The ship has been confirmed 500 yards ahead. We will make a sharp turn to avoid collision. All hands prepare for possible impact. What is happening? It sounds like our ship is about to collide with another one. What? Oh no, I can't keep my balance. Susato, grab onto me. Yeah. Susato, are you alright? Are you injured? No, I'm fine. Thank you, Naruhodo. It looks like we avoided the collision. The ship. Looks like we've stopped. Naruhodo, are you hurt at all? No, I'm okay. Hello? Is anyone in there? Please respond. That voice. It's Detective Hosonaga. Is that you, Naruhodo? Please undo the bolt, quickly. The bolt? Oh, look, Naruhodo. The bolt. It's locked. Susato, did you bolt the door? No, I didn't touch it at all. That's strange. How did that happen? And these books. Oh. I've seen this all before. Alright, I'm going to unbolt the door. I should clean up this mess and put the room back to how it was before. For, preservation purposes, of course. The emergency stop was too flashy to have simply been called a mystery. It was certain that there would be something unpleasant awaiting us beyond the door. I couldn't help but think about that as I slowly began cleaning up the disheveled room. Okay. That was a pretty short section. The door had somehow been bolted shut during the ship's emergency maneuvers. Susato drew in a deep breath and wordlessly unbolted the latch. Filthy rats! What are you doing in Nikomina's cabin? It appears that the both of you are unharmed. Yes, we are. What exactly just happened? I heard something from the speaking tube about the ships colliding. That appears to have been a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? The emergency warning was indeed sounded throughout the entire ship. However, the ship merely made a temporary stop due to low visibility caused by the sea's fog. Ship is mess. Passengers going crazy, and captain is red with fury. At the moment, only the first class area remains calm. I see. If a false alarm rang out, then there had to have been someone who pushed the button. Eek! You! Dark, shady intruder! Yes? She really put her all into that shriek. You opened the trunk without asking! Huh? Oh, no, it wasn't us. That's right. The trunk was already open when we came back in. Mr. Detective! Yes? Arrest this man! I am knowing everything! This man is murderer too, yes? Exactly, and stowaway too! We're just gonna have every single crime pinned on us. Hurry, arrest them for trespassing! Murderer, stowaway, trespasser, no end to your trouble, is there? I really can't excuse myself from this one. Ship has solitary cell. You go in isolation now. You arrive at Hong Kong tomorrow. Then, you arrive in police custody. Isolation? Detective Hosonaga, isn't there anything we can do? We are on a Russian ship. I have no authority as an officer of the law here. While I convinced the captain to be lenient before, I fear that will no longer be possible. No. I've got to find a way to get out of this pinch. And quickly at that. Excuse me, Nikomina, get out. Look, I'm sorry for entering your cabin without your permission, but... And do not be coming back again. You see, we just wanted to investigate the murder case. Looks like I won't be able to ask her anything. That doesn't matter. I need to find someone who can get me out of this. Please, just give me a little more time. Do not be stupid. The only thing I will give you is trip to the brig. So annoying. Don't talk so big just because you happen to be big. I'm not guilty of anything. I'm not a murderer. And you are guilty of stowaway and trespassing. Well, people play many roles in life. Hey, it is time to go. Your cell is ready for you. He must be here somewhere. I need to find a savior. Someone who can rescue me from this terrible crisis. Oh. I don't wanna. Put me in jail. Put me in jail. Just put me in jail. Oops. Alright. Don't touch your things. Hold. I didn't mean to. I was trying to talk to Hosonaga. I'm not investigating. Sorry. I got tossed. Alright. One person who can get me out of this. That is Sherlock Holmes, but I want to talk to Hosonaga. You've gotten yourself into some more trouble, I see. Why were you caught trespassing? I'm sorry about that. I was trying to find clues. Well, I've already lost any influence I had. Nothing more I can do. Next time, I'm sure they won't be willing to leave it at a single punch. Detective. Now I'm to blame for this as well, because I gave you the freedom to move about. I need to report this to the captain immediately. Oh, they must be here somewhere. I need to find a savior. Just hanging out. Literally hanging out. What are you doing over there? Mr. Sherlock Holmes? Oh, you know. I just wanted to feel a weight of 20,000 rubles on my head. But you see, a detective must be able to comprehend anything and everything. I swear there were no shenanigans afoot. Indeed, I would never steal from anyone. Putting that aside, why were you hanging from the clothes hook on the wall? That. I simply wanted to experience the profundity of being 20,000 rubles. And to crush that cheeky hook, poking its head out of the wall with a snap. It's no use. I honestly can't figure out what in the world he's talking about. Are you that self-proclaimed great detective? Hello, good detective. I've been looking for all of you, actually. I wish to report some information, if you would be so kind to allow it. I must not be a great detective, as I have no desire to hang from that wall hook. Oh, what is it? What is this information? When it comes to a great detective's report, it can be only one subject to discuss. Namely, regarding the mysterious murder that occurred on the SS Outclair last night. I have just completely solved it. Ladies and gentlemen, here is my report. What? What did you just say? I brought this matter to its conclusion. There should be no other possibilities. I shall now elucidate the matter for you. Something only a great detective can do. A great detective's great deduction. Solved? What nonsense is this? We are already knowing identity of culprit. It is that stowaway in handcuffs. No other possibility. It wasn't me. Yet, there are no other individuals who could have carried out the murder. After all, the cabin was locked from within by the bolt on the latch. Well, we now know how that can be explained. The culprit must have been inside the cabin. There's no other reasonable explanation. This is just like the locked room murders that you see in detective novels, isn't it? She is right. The locked room thing. Locked room? You're right. These doors can't possibly be unbolted from the other side, but... I'm sorry to disappoint you all. That cabin was not a perfect locked room. Huh? There is, in fact, one other entrance to the crime scene. That entrance was the one used by the culprit when the crime was committed. What is this other entrance you speak of? Even now, it lies open before your very eyes. Is that how you got in? The air duct. The air duct, you say? You could not be serious. You could not fit even arm into shaft as small as this one. Well, at least not your giant arm. So you're saying the culprit entered the cabin through that tiny shaft? And who exactly would be capable of doing that? As it turns out, last night, the victim himself witnessed the culprit's appearance. Could you be referring to the contents of the journal we found on Kazuma's desk? 1 hour and 23 minutes after midnight, I heard a sound like a low whistle. 1 hour and 35 minutes after midnight, I saw a speckled band at the air duct. Precisely. What could that speckled band possibly be? The answer to that mystery, hiding somewhere in this very room. Mr. Holmes? What do you mean? Worry not, all will be well. There may be a bit of a ruckus though. Feast your eyes as I unveil something truly mystifying, yet intriguing. There! Eek. That's... Oh. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me the pleasure of introducing the true identity of the fearsome speckled band. That's a snake, isn't it? Just so. Mr. Holmes, may I ask a question? Yes, please, by all means. I don't think I've read any of the Sherlock Holmes books, so I will take your word for it that this is like a Sherlock Holmes book. I'm not sure that you've noticed, but I really don't think speckle describes that snake. No matter how I look at it, it's more striped than anything else. Hmm? Yes, that does seem more accurate. It's more of a striped band. Quite the clever observation. However, what if I were to tell you that this very fact is part of the culprit's devious trap? What? You're saying it's a trap? What kind of trap would that be? Allow me to elucidate. The time has come to reveal my findings. You understand the possible implications of what I am about to say, Ms. Nikomina. The Japanese man died. Very sad, but that is all. I am knowing nothing. Nothing at all. Just like last time, I've come to two conclusions. First of all, last night, your friend slithered into the victim's cabin. And secondly, your friend took the victim's life. No! Nikomina's turning pale. It looks like his two conclusions have hit the mark again. So this young lady's friend was the one who took Asogi's life? That snake's got him in a vice grip. He can't even speak. Good sailor, I suggest that you remain absolutely still. If you were to enrage the snake and suffer a bite, it would not end well for you. Now, everyone, shall we begin? Come, one and all, to Sherlock Holmes' Theater of Logic and Reason. Topic 1. The Intruder. Miss Nikomina, you've said this yourself. I am knowing nothing. Nothing at all. However, you're unable to lie to yourself. Indubitably, it's only natural to feel pain in your heart on recalling the events. That very same pain is the evidence of your relation to the victim's death. But who entered the scene that night, you ask? That would be the friend you carried on board the ship, wouldn't it? No surprise there. Your line of sight shifted this time as well. Naturally, your friend is that snake. No, it's not. However, if that were the case, one problem presents itself. It was a speckled band that was witnessed by the victim that night. And yet, unfortunately, no matter how you look at it, you cannot call the snake a speckled band. So then, what did the victim see last night? Do not look. I am knowing nothing about this too. Indubitably, the answer to that question is what you've just tried to hide. Thus, it is that snakeskin, without a doubt. Indubitably, after that incident, your friend shed its skin. Isn't that right? What are you talking about? Last night, the snake, covered in speckle, sneaked through. Sneak? I guess that's probably right. Sneaked through that entrance over there. I see that's like British English. Guided by that bell call, it slowly slithered down into the room. In the dim light, the victim saw it as a speckled band. Therefore, the identity of your friend who sneaked onto the scene is a most unusual snake, capable of changing its appearance by shedding. Yeah, I figured stuck is American English. I wonder if such a snake exists within the realm of India. Topic 2. Fatal injury. Next, let's get into the core matter of his death. How and why was the victim's life robbed from him? From the information I have, the corpse did not show a single trace of external injury. Indubitably, the truth behind the victim's death lies in this deadly poison. And so, if that is indeed the truth, it is possible that the crime scene still contains hints about the murder. You lie. Indubitably, examining the corpse will let us prove the cause of death. There should be a small, near invisible trace of a poisonous fang on the victim's body. A trace of your friend, terrible venomous snake's bite. What are you talking about? Miss Nigumina, it is pointless to feign ignorance. After the incident, you made sure to hide everything, correct? Indubitably, your line of sight leads straight to the location of concealment. The evidence of this terrible murder is hidden within your trunk. When we first entered this cabin, that trunk moved. The murder weapon, the snake, happened to rattle about at that moment, correct? No! By the way, the victim had heard a soft sound akin to a whistle before the incident. That is the signal you blew in order to manipulate your snake. Manipulate? You let your snake loose into that air duct and called it back after a set period of time. It was unknown to you if the bite landed. You decided to investigate the room. If the victim was still alive, you planned to just send out the snake again. And this, I imagine, is just what the snake was trained to do. You are wrong. Guided by the call bell from the entrance, it took one little bite with its venomous fangs. That venom ran throughout the victim's body, snuffing out his life's ember for all eternity. That is precisely the true identity of the speckled band which robbed the victim's life. I can only hope that my deduction is incorrect. Sure is. Alright, let's go fix his almost correct, but far off deductions. And there you have it. The great deductions of Sherlock Holmes have been revealed. Miss Nikomina had been training the snake to be used as a weapon. Over there is a milk saucer. I surmise milk was the treat used to assist with the training. Wow. This time the mystery is solved for sure. Good heavens, that was a brilliant great deduction. This truly is the great detective Sherlock Holmes. Oh please. This is but the first step. It certainly helped to have at least stave off my boredom, however. Excuse me? A moment, please, Mr. Holmes. Yes, of course. Tell me what's on your mind. There's one thing I'm just a smidge curious about regarding that deduction. Ah, yes. Questions are certainly welcome. I'd be glad to answer them firmly and precisely. Thank you. First... snakes are born from eggs. Therefore, they are classified as reptiles. I see. You know your stuff. Reptiles do not drink milk. Huh? The only animals that would willingly drink milk are mammals. I do not think that one could train a snake with milk. Ah, yes. Then surely she trained it using a different treat. Milk is just an example. This problem is not important to the investigation. Next, snakes do not have ears. Huh? Therefore, I do not think it would be possible to manipulate the creature with a whistle. However, you know those stories. There's talk of snakes that twirl and dance to the flutes in the land of Arabia. The flute is played to match the movements of the snake, not the other way around. Is that so? I actually didn't know that either. That makes a lot of sense, actually. No arms, legs, or ears. Just how simple of a creature are you, snake? Please don't take out your frustration on the snake. So, may I move on to my next point? There's more? The snake uses the scales on its stomach to move. It would be impossible for it to descend using something as flat as this bell rope. But why? Getting mad at me won't change how reality is. Anyway, even if you send a snake through the air duct, it cannot return by itself. Therefore, no matter how you look at it, it would be very difficult for a snake to commit this crime. Now, we've identified the issues. It's time to do it again, Naruhodo. By do it, do you mean... Yes, it's time to turn that deduction into a great deduction. I should have expected it would come to this. Understood. Let's do this. That's just what I want to hear, Master Naruhodo. Oh, what? Okay. Yeah. Take a look at your hands this time as well. My hands, sir? Again. Handcuffs are gone. When did... And like before, there's no need to worry. You can have them back when we're finished. Trust me, I'm not very worried about it. Now, everyone, shall we begin? Come, one and all, to Sherlock Holmes' theater of logic and reason. Hold it, Mr. Holmes. Okay. Okay. Only natural to feel pain in your heart. He's looking at her hand. Nikomina looks like she's in a lot of pain. Yes, indeed. She appears to feel truly guilty about Kazuma's death. But considering her obvious confusion at what Mr. Holmes is saying, there's most likely a different meaning to her facial expression. Well then, let's make sure we thoroughly inspect Nikomina. Wrist? Oh, wait a minute. There's a... Oh, look at this. This looked like it must hurt. It must have gotten scratched by some small animal. Not only that, but it looks like it happened recently. I don't recall seeing any kind of small animal around here. Oh, gotta click on this. Okay. Hi! Indubitably, it's only natural to feel pain in your claw wound upon recalling the events. No doubt, on the looks of it, the wound is still fresh. Nikomina, could it be that your claw wound was inflicted last night? Ah. I am regretting that man has died. And when I am regretting, this wound hurts. That very same pain is the evidence of your relation to the victim's death. But, who entered the scene that night, you ask? That would be the friend you carried on board the ship, wouldn't it? No surprise there, your line of sight has shifted this time as well. Naturally, your friend is that snake. Snakes don't have claws. It's two pets. Regarding that claw wound, it must have been a wound caused by her friend, right? But snakes don't have claws, do they? Right. To begin with, they do not even have any hands for claws to grow from. If that's the case, so what could the true identity of her friend be? If we look towards where Nikomina unconsciously directed her gaze, I'm sure that's where we'll find the answer. Actually just stroganoff? Is it? I don't see anything else. Oh, wait, the picture. Cat. This is a photograph. That's a cute kitty. It must be something Nikomina brought on board with her. Nikomina truly is quite beautiful. That's definitely true, but if you ask me, I'm more interested in this little black one over here. I should take a closer look at this photograph. Can you believe this cat murdered a Sogi? That's the twist of this case. God, I hope not. This must be a cat that Nikomina is embracing right here. It certainly is an adorable kitten. It could even give you a good run for your money in terms of blackness. That's an awkward sentence. Anyway, black kitten, huh? From what I can see, it appears to be quite fond of Nikomina. Hi! Naturally, your friend is that kitten. Right. One look at that claw wound and it becomes painfully clear. Ah. Black kitten. I don't know where it is right now, but you brought it along as you sought asylum, correct? Eek. Blackie is my friend. Do not leave behind. So the kitten's name is Blackie. However, if that was the case, one problem presents itself. It was a speckled band that the victim witnessed last night. However, no matter how you look at it, this kitten looks nothing like a speckled band. So then, what did the victim see last night? Is that like a sweater for the cat then? Do not look. I am knowing nothing about this, too. Indubitably, the answer to that question is what you've just tried to hide. Thus, it is that snakeskin, without a doubt. Kamina took out what was in her pocket and hid it behind her back without thinking. If she had kept it in her pocket, she would have gotten away with it. I would expect no less from Holmes's forte, his bluffs. Shouldn't a great detective's forte be his deductions? At any rate, it is difficult to believe that it would be cast-off snakeskin. Then, what on earth could it be? What is Nikomina trying to hide? Oh, rotate. Oh, hey, I can present her ear. Collar? It certainly is both speckled and band-like, but what exactly is this? Soft and fluffy and made out of a long piece of cloth. There's a handle attached to the very end of it. This must be a Western cat teaser. I have no idea what that is. I don't own a cat. Cat teaser? It is a toy meant for cats to play with. Oh. Kittens are especially fond of them. If you wiggle it in front of them, they're bound to jump for it. It sounds really adorable. Hi! Thus, it is that cat toy, without a doubt. Yes, in other words, that would be the true identity of the speckled band. Ah. You dangled that toy through the air duct, correct? You must have swung it quite fiercely. It's no surprise that the victim caught sight of it. However, why would she do such a thing? That goes without saying. She hoped to use the toy, waving wildly, catch her kitten's attention. Then, bewitched by that tantalizing toy, Kitty runs home and jumps into her arms. Huh. Indubitably, the identity of your friend that stole into the scene is none other than that tricky kitten, Little Blackie. You think Asogi's like allergic to cats? What a truly troublesome cat. If I ever catch sight of it, I'll catch it for you. I'll borrow that photograph of Blackie for a bit. Last night, I gave Blackie a meal. Then Blackie scratched my hand, then ran to call Bell. Before I could move, vanished into air duct. Blackie is bad kitty. Next, let's get into the core matter of his death. How and why was the victim's life robbed from him? From the information I have, the corpse did not show a single trace of external injury. Ah. Indubitably, the truth behind the victim's death lies within this deadly poison. Mr. Holmes must be right. It is true that Kazuma did not have any external wounds. Yes, but it looks like there's some information that Mr. Holmes isn't aware of. Asogi didn't die from poison. That certainly appears to be the case. Let's tell him about that information. Do I have that information? Ah, this. Great. Hi! Postmortem. Indubitably, the truth behind the victim's death lies within this postmortem. I just knew it had to be one or the other. His neck? The only person who could live with a broken neck would be that sailor over there. No, I'm pretty sure Mr. Stroganoff is human too. Anyway, the victim had his neck broken. That is indeed a fact. It is possible that the crime scene still contains hints about the murder. You lie. Indubitably, examining the corpse will let us prove the cause of death. Sogi died from a broken neck. Suppose that means he would have been struck. That is certainly possible. However, as of yet, we still have not found any potential weapons. And it's unlikely that the trespassing kitten struck him. Or perhaps, if he had toppled over and took an unlucky fall, if unfortunate enough, that could have very well broken his neck. You might be right. Toppled over, huh? However, this is Kazuma we're talking about. It is difficult to believe that he could have been so clumsy. Regardless, we'll have to make the right change. So where could the remaining trace of Asogi's death be? I think it's the bell. Oh, see what happens. Indubitably, examining the floor markings will let us prove the cause of death. There were really traces left over, traces of shoe polish on the floor. Ooh, polish? I examine it with my homemade analysis machine that I carry around for fun. Of course it's for fun. Beeswax, tallow, and dye. The composition matches that of shoe polish perfectly. Furthermore, the color of shoe polish is the same as Asogi's leather boots. By looking at these traces, you can accurately guess what had happened. Likely that something caused him to lose his footing and tumble over. Hello, Nestor. Oh. He must have unfortunately suffered a severe impact to his neck as he fell to the floor. The instant the victim took that fatal injury to the cervical vertebrae, he took his last breath. No! I am knowing nothing. Nothing at all. Is that really true? Well, Nestor, I purchased the game from the Japanese Play Store. I cannot help you if you wish to acquire the game by less than legal means. This is not the place to go asking for that. When the victim perished, a certain piece of evidence remained on the scene. Indeed. Now then, you must have desperately tried to hide that damning piece of evidence, didn't you? Indubitably, your line of sight leads straight to the location of concealment. The evidence of this terrible murder is hidden within your trunk. No. Kazuma died because he tripped over and fell? At all? That must be a lie. I refuse to believe such a thing. But there's no denying that the traces on the floor show exactly that. Oh, yes, but... Plus, according to Mr. Holmes' theory, Nikomina tried to hide any evidence of the incident. It lies in this cabin, directly in Nikomina's line of sight. Capcom made the game. Of course they deserve the money. Just where did Nikomina hide it? Let's investigate this thoroughly. The answer must be here. What's behind it? No? Is there anything in the trash can? We said we found nothing in it. But there's probably stuff in it. This is the cabin's waste paper bin. Nikomina only boarded just last night. So I doubt there'd be much rubbish piled in there. Oh, there's the other half of the... Come on! Come on, we searched this earlier! Wait, this is... a piece of glass? It's pink! How could... You can buy it legally if you make a Japanese Play Store account and use Japanese Play Store shop cards as listed on the Fan Translations website. There are ways you can legally buy it. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I feel like I've seen this somewhere before. I don't think it's just your imagination. And the question was concealment. Evidence that you took the victim's life is hidden within your waste paper bin. Ah. I've seen this beautiful piece of glass somewhere before. Indubitably, take this fragment that was found on the floor of Asogi's cabin and... like so, it fits perfectly. Yeah. Thank you, Nestor. I understand. We'll have a difference of opinion on this. Come now, Miss Nikomina. Would you kindly explain yourself? Why is it that a piece of the broken glass found at the scene of the crime is in your cabin's waste paper bin? Ah. I'm sure you're familiar with this glass spell. That is... Your trademark, I am knowing nothing, won't work here. You're wondering why? There is decisive evidence that proves your connection to it. Huh? Isn't that right, Master Naruhodo? Yes. This is the piece of evidence that links Nikomina to the class spell. It's the cat spell, right? Am I wrong? Okay. It's clearly depicted in this photograph. Hanging from Blackie's neck. It's none other than that very same glass spell. Miss Nikomina, you can no longer run. The victim fell onto the cabin floor and lost his life in a terrible twist of fate. And that fated fall had something to do with your friend, Blackie. No matter what, I could not say this. Sorry. That is the most unfortunate way to die. I'm sorry, Asogi, but I wish you could have gone out a little better than that. Nikomina, please, we need you to tell us what exactly happened last night. It was last night, hour after midnight, and I gave Blackie a meal. He went mad and ran away from me. I have heard that cats become very nervous when placed in a new environment. Kitty disappeared into air duct. Then... Well, it was then that your hand was scratched. Yes. I know the ship regulations. Do not bring Kitty on ship. Animals carry pathogens that can spread diseases. Too frightening to allow. So I listened to cabin next door. It was very quiet. Probably is sleeping, I think. And so you tried to call back the kitten in secret, didn't you? You tried waving Blackie's cat toy through that air duct. It always brings Blackie back. This time, I use toy, I whistle, but Blackie does not return. That low whistle Asogi heard was meant to call back the kitten. I hear that kitty cats will hide under cover and refuse to come out if they're afraid. I had no choice but to wait for Kitty to calm down. Then... God. Sounds brutal. I thought... Heart stopped. Suddenly, I heard a loud voice, then a huge sound, and then I heard nothing else. Sogi. Judging from the marks left on the floor of the crime scene, the victim most likely stepped onto the glass bell when he lost his footing. Although the Outclair may be a colossal ship, it could swing around with incredible force. It could be that as he was falling, the nervous kitten has wrapped itself around his feet. As these continuous, unfortunate incidents piled up, he could do little to prevent his fall. In any case, what happened with the kitten afterwards? Later, he responded to my calls and returned from air duct. However, little Blackie is nowhere to be seen right now. Forgot to lock that trunk. Kitty wandered off again. Good grief. That kitty cat's as restless as I am. But he is aware that he's restless. Morning came. I hear that man next door is dead. But I could not say this. If people know the truth about me, I have to go back. That scares me. Oh, if that's all true then, what about the snake? That's right. If that isn't Nikomina's friend, then why? Why is there such an extremely dangerous animal aboard the ship? Is snake? Oh, forgot to mention, the snake, his friend, you see, name is Pirushko. What? 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 You're saying that's your snake? It escaped from cage during alarm ruckus. I was looking for it. But was here all along? Ha! How did it escape in the first place? However, isn't it forbidden to carry animals aboard the ship? We are sailing together for over a year now, yes? Such good friends cannot be teared apart. I wonder if he has any other friends. Real friends, anyway. Look here, Mr. Sailor. It's a big venomous snake of all things. Who would like that sort of thing? It is not venomous. What? See Pirushko here? Is long, but harmless to man or animal. What an adorable friend! Harmless? It's just grumpy from hunger right now. Give food to bring back cuteness. By food, do you mean things like milk and such? We just went over this, Naruto. Ha! Such a snake exists only in fairy tales. Hiroshiko love mice. Round, fat mice. That's what the mouse trap was for. So correct me if I'm wrong, but that mouse trap, that mouse trap along the cabin corridor is. Yes, it is trapped to catch Hiroshiko's favorite food. Wow, circle of life is pretty harsh. Doesn't drink milk, hear whistles, climb call bells, or even inject venom. Indeed, one could say the fellow doesn't have a leg to stand on. Oh no. Put me in jail. Just put me in jail. Just, I don't want to be here anymore. Who the hell cares? Do not yell at me again. Anyway, Hiroshiko has nothing to do with incident. Is that really true? Is that ever true? So this is the truth behind Asogi's death. Nikomina Borskevich. I understand that the position you're in is rough, and I sympathize with you. However, that said, should you take a man's life and lie in hopes of escaping your final punishment, you will be purely despicable, no matter how dire your circumstances may be. Huh? What are you trying to say? Hasn't all the mystery just been clearly unraveled before us? Everything was hinged on an unfortunate off-chance accident. I am not able to see things as well as Mr. Holmes can, but I know for a fact this cannot be the truth. What do you think, Naruhodo? Honestly, I had the same feeling. There's something out of place in Nikomina's words. Let me be honest. I had thought to leave everything after this. Scotland Yard. What? There's only one reason I am investigating this incident. Simply because I couldn't bear to look at you, Master Naruhodo. Huh? You mean me? Those cuffs binding your hands simply bothered me to no end. Ah. Again? When did he do that? I felt almost if I had placed those handcuffs on you myself, you see. In any case, I thought to do something about it before this ship docks in Hong Kong. Mr. Holmes. However, there was one thing that slipped my mind. The parted victim was a very dear friend to both of you. That's the truth, isn't it? Yes. Togi was my best friend. He was the man who saved me. Then... truth that lies beyond this point should be sought out by your very own eyes. My own eyes? That odd feeling I got from Nikomina's words. Perhaps if I pursue it, I might be able to find the truth. The true story behind your death. Finally come to light. I understand. I'll give it a shot. That's the spirit. Naruhodo. Now, shall we begin, Master Naruhodo? Yes, sir. Well then, let's start with the first issue. The victim's corpse within the locked cabin. Was that really the result of an accident? Or perhaps it was not an accident at all? We should make this clear first. Well, as I was just saying, the kitten went through the air duct and caused his fall. It was clearly an accident. Oh god. Wait, this isn't right. That line of thought is obviously flawed. Might I beg an explanation? That's right. It's slowly becoming clearer. The contradiction behind Asogi's death is glaringly obvious. Simply put, Asogi's cabin holds decisive evidence to the contrary. His death was not a mere accident. What did you say? In that case, show me your so-called evidence. Show me the evidence that proves the death of the victim was not just an accident. It's writing? I might be jumping ahead of it, but this has been bothering me. It's clearly shown in this photograph. It would have been impossible for Asogi to write that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that writing is in Russian, isn't it? Precisely. It means wardrobe. It would have been natural if his dying message was in Japanese. However, what if he learned Russian? Russian is easy. Surprisingly easy. I have my doubts. Same, see? I'm role-playing Naruhodo. Kind of doubt that. Well, whatever the case, it doesn't matter. Well, what do you mean? As I said before, it was impossible for Asogi to have left that message. And the reason for that is clearly written here. Oh, I didn't have to present it. Instant death from trauma to the cervical vertebrae. Instant death. In other words, he could not have written those words after falling to the floor. After all, he was already dead. And that's not all. I recall one other issue regarding Kazuma's cabin. No matter how you look at it, traces at the scene contradict an accidental death. Really? Susato noticed it too. There's still something that strikes me as odd, even putting aside the Russian message. And that's the piece of evidence that proves it wasn't just an accident. Uh-oh. So, like, the things that stand out to me is that message is in Russian and it's in wardrobe. And there shouldn't be that many people who knew that we were in the wardrobe. Unless... Anyway. What proves that it wasn't just an accident? Let's take a look. There's a 12-minute gap here. Hold up. The whistle was before the cat went in. I don't think this is what I need to present for this statement, but I think that'll be relevant later. Piece of evidence that proves it wasn't just an accident. We know the incident happened around or before 1. Entries from 2 until the morning are blank. Oh, that's probably so that the culprit could go into the room, I guess. These don't seem relevant to this, but I'll take a look. Let's see. No traces of violence or poison. It might actually be this. I don't know. I'm gonna see what happens. Oh, hey, it's not that. Alright, we blew that one. That's okay. No mere accident. If you truly believe that, consider your evidence carefully. If it really was an accident, then certain something is missing from the scene. What would be missing? Certain something that shouldn't exist is at the scene. Something is at the scene. I think was missing. Oh, I think I get it now. I don't. Yeah, cause I don't. Alright. Slowly becoming clearer. Contradiction. It's glaringly obvious. Okay. Something is there that shouldn't be there. Let's see. Message? I mean, the message shouldn't be there. Yes, we know. Something that is missing. That's okay. So, cat. According to the previous thing, the cat went in. Then she. I don't quite see it. Please, that wasn't an accident. Badge? Gotta be the badge. Actually, if they went in to write the message, why would they leave the bell? Alright, let's see what happens. It's these marks on the floor over here. But couldn't those have been left behind by the glass bell that was split into two? Something that could have happened when the victim was falling over? Yes, that's right. If you think of it that way, there shouldn't be any problem. Unfortunately, there's one fatal flaw in your reasoning. What? If that were really the case, then answer me this. Why was the other half of the broken bell found in another cabin? Then why'd you only pick up half? My guess is that the half that's in the room split into place after turbulence. The other half of the glass bell was found in this waste paper bin. Might you offer us an explanation, Nikomina? Thus, the truth revealed by these two pieces of evidence can only be as follows. When Natsugi died, he was not alone. Another person was in the cabin. Furthermore, that person tampered with the scene of the crime. All to escape from the crime they committed. Eek! When the incident occurred, there was another person present at the scene.
What the?
Ha! Rubbish! Another person, you say? We already knew! What do you mean, sir? You are forgetting Stowaway and Cabin? Ah. When exchange student died, another person was you! Indeed, I was present in the cabin during that time. To be more precise, he was stuffed inside that cabin's wardrobe. But, if I was the culprit, how can you explain the Russian message left behind? To be precise, it's not that you didn't write it, but more like you couldn't. Excuse me, could you please shut up for a moment? Well, pardon me. Anyway, culprit wrote wardrobe on the floor in Russian. All in order to frame me, sound asleep inside this wardrobe for this crime. Furthermore, he retrieved a piece of the glass bell lying on the floor. They removed it from the scene because it would become evidence of Kazuma's murder. But if that were true, there would be no point unless all the fragments were discarded. Half of it was left at the scene. Do you not find that strange? Well, crime occurred a little past 1 a.m. The cabin's interior must have been rather dark. Light was provided by one small lamp. Little of it must have reached the floorboards. It wouldn't be unimaginable for the killer to have overlooked some glass. Everyone suspecting me. Mr. Stroganoff? This girl was originally daughter of Seaman. 2 years ago, scouted for talent and sold to ballet group. Until then, this ship was her stage. She danced with band for sailors. No more accusations against our ship's delicate fairy. Never could have imagined. When exchange student died, do you think girls in cabin too? It's impossible. No chance in hell. Ever. How intriguing. Why are you able to declare that with such conviction? Ah, you do not already know, great detective? Door to cabin was locked from within. Nikomina is not only one with alibi, it's also true for everyone else. Entering cabin would be impossible. Yeah, right. But now that you mention it, I have read of such a thing in mystery novels before. At moments like these, a needle and thread can be used to open the door from the outside. Excuse me. What? Needle and thread? Ridiculous. Doors in this ship were built strong, cannot be opened by flimsy needle and thread. What you say is fact. That is a door of a steamship, after all. In order to keep water out, it is made of heavy iron. Not even magnets can work. That's just what I thought. It was simply because Naruhodo had spoken of this earlier. Susato, you're mean! Then, as initially presumed, unlatching the door from outside is impossible. But it's not impossible by any stretch of the imagination. What are you saying? Allow me to say this. If you were to leave that door to me, I could latch it shut without ever so much as touching it once. And right now, this cabin holds a trace of that very method. Are you serious? How about you, Master Naruhodo? Don't you know of such a method? Method of latching the cabin door shut from the outside? Indeed, you're right. I can think of one way. Is that true, Naruhodo? Yes, after all, we both witnessed it. Well then, would you kindly point that out for us, Master Naruhodo? What is the proof that suggests the door was locked from the outside? Books. It's the tilting of the ship. I'm going to hope they want me to present the book. Please take a look at that bookshelf. Various books and trinkets are scattered all over the place. It is likely that they fell down during the emergency stop earlier. Yes, there's no mistake about that, considering how massive the ship is. Tremendous force would travel throughout the ship's interior if they were to stop abruptly. As such, it would only be natural that a couple of small items would topple over. If I recall correctly, this force is also known as inertia. As usual, Kusato sure knows about some complicated stuff. And when that force toppled over the bookshelf, there was one more thing that moved within this cabin. And that would be the latch on the door. What? After that emergency stop earlier, I understood everything. At that time, none of us had latched the door. Despite that, whoa! Is anyone in there? Please respond. That voice. It's Detective Hosonaga. Ah. That's right. When the ship stopped, the door had latched shut. This door's latch may be made of metal, but it is small and lightweight. Due to the earlier mentioned force, inertia, it had moved from its place. Could you be implying that last night, after the incident had occurred? The ship, the SS Alclair, pulled over for an emergency stop? That would explain the sword. When I woke up this morning, I couldn't help but feel that something was off. Books and trinkets on the bookshelf had all fallen over. It was as if a whirlwind had swept through the room. It looked just like it does right now. Oh, now that you mention it, items certainly were scattered about. Although everything is neatly put back together by now. That's why right after I entered this room, I was very surprised. All the books and ornaments had fallen over in the exact same way as in Asogi's room. Ah! What do you say to that, Nikumina? SS Alclair stopped? Ridiculous! He is right. Stopping the ship is no simple task. Or are you implying that the culprit is one of the ship's engineers? Oh, come now. The matter's nothing that complicated, my fellow. What? It's even on the walls of the corridor. Check out the emergency alarm. Yes, that is true. In the event of emergency, this button is to be pushed. It's clearly written in the hallway. I think Holmes was the person who hit it earlier. Like during our investigation of Nikumina's room. Seems very likely. During dense foggy nights, those on lookout cannot ensure safety with their eyes alone. That's right, it was foggy, so probably wasn't him. As such, Buttons are installed on the ship to allow the crew to issue emergency warnings. Such a fascinating button, just begs to be pushed, at least once or twice. Then you... Oh. When that button is pressed, an emergency alarm is rung. It causes the ship to come to a complete stop and alert everyone on the ship of the situation. Just like earlier. Excuse me, could it be that you... It is my belief that buttons exist for the sole purpose of being pushed. At any time and in any way. Alright, well. This great detective certainly doesn't know the meaning of the word fear. You rat! Who are you thinking you are? I will report this to Captain. Be ready for punishment. Calm down, my friend. Why don't we postpone that to a later time? Anyway, with the alarm raised, I was able to confirm something. If this ship was to make an emergency stop, cabin latches would lock themselves. And so, there's but one question to ponder next. That would be, of course, last night, after Kazuma's incident. Did this ship make an emergency stop? Is not that simple. Giant steamship cannot just make an emergency stop. Such huge incident would wake everyone from their beds. What do you think, Master Naruhodo? It could be that last night there was some kind of emergency stop made by the ship, and I might be able to prove that it happened, at the very least. What? Does such evidence truly exist, Naruhodo? That is highly interesting. Please show it to us, by all means. What is the evidence that suggests that the ship made an emergency stop last night? I want to say the log, even though it doesn't say anything.
Hi.
Mr. Stroganoff, you were on security lookout for the first class cabin area, correct? Huh? I mean, yes. What about it? This ship's log is a record of that lookout, correct? Ah, that is mine. Ah, yes. It looked like you accidentally forgot about it and left it on the desk. So I took the responsibility of taking it into my custody in order to bring it back to you. It was not an accident. I left it on purpose. In any case, if you take a look through this record, at regular 30-minute intervals, nothing unusual is written within the log. However, starting from 2 a.m., there are no records written at all. Not at all? That is just, well, obviously was nothing unusual. If there was nothing unusual, then nothing unusual should have been written. Ugh. Indubitably. In other words, after 2 a.m., on board the Alclair, something had happened. Something important enough to cause someone to even forget the ever so important ship's log. And that would be the emergency stop? Do not be making ridiculous assumptions. To be honest, I also seem to have trouble believing that such a thing could have happened. And why is that? Well, just think about it. Consider the magnitude of such an incident. No matter the circumstances, certainly we would have noticed it. That is true. After all, we just had a taste of that emergency stop ourselves. Such an incredible alarm. Such an incredible heave. No matter how deep in sleep we could have been, we would have woken up from that. Well, you certainly have a point there. Have you all noticed the throbbing as well? What? What could you be referring to? Your heads. For some reason, ever since this morning, my head has just been killing me. Huh. Now that you mention it, I have not been feeling the best for whatever reason, ever since this morning. I haven't either. My head has been feeling heavy all morning. As I had suspected, it's been much the same for everyone. That's right. Now that I think about it, it's been the same for me as well. After eating dinner last night, I ended up feeling drowsy all of a sudden. I somehow made it to the wardrobe, but I don't remember anything after that. When I woke up this morning, the first thing I felt was that throbbing pain in my head. By the time I came to my senses, I was dragged out of the wardrobe. And with both hands cuffed, there was no way I wouldn't have woken up from something like that. Oh, by the way, Master Naruhodo, you are the impudent stowaway who boarded this ship, correct? Yes, much to my shame. The stowaway shouldn't have been receiving meals. How did you come about your meal? Oh, that's, well, you know, Sogi shared just a bit of his meal with me. If memory serves, the meal last night was roasted chicken. Oh, come to think of it, I ate all of it last night. Sogi wasn't a big fan of chicken. Ah, the victim did not eat a single bite of the chicken? That's right, but why is that important? After relaying that information yourself, have you not come to realize anything? Ah, might you be saying that the chicken was abnormal? Exactly. Oh, so that's what it was. The food provided by this ship last night was tampered with. When eaten, you would be lulled into a sweet sleep. That kind of tampering. Sleeping drugs, you mean? In that case, in order to put the ship into an emergency stop, the culprit put sleeping drugs in all the food. Naruhodo, I think that is much too impossible of a task to pull off. Exactly. It is impossible to drug all of the food on the ship, assuming that the entire crew was not cooperating together on the matter. That is. Well, what? What are your thoughts, good sailor? Oh. I am of the opinion that it would be difficult to cover up this matter any further. If you do not wish to talk, then I will request an official investigation of this ship. If it were to come to that, I'd imagine that you sailors and your captain would all be punished. Punished under the crime of assisting a defection. It's like blackmail on blackmail on blackmail in this game. That is enough. I will tell everything. What? I do not wish to trouble sailors. At one point, we were all comrades who traveled together, right? That is why I asked them for help when I ran away. All sailors wanted to help. Help Princess who abandoned her motherland and her ballet troupe. How in heavens could this be? As you say, last night chicken was drugged, heavily. Now that I think about it, there were some bitter lumps mixed in. Ah yes, sleeping drugs probably did not dissolve all the way. Ugh, what kind of seasoning is that? Around midnight, Princess aboard our ship in agreed upon area in open ocean. Smugglers bringed her on small fishing boat. And we, the passengers, remained sound asleep, blissfully unaware of what was occurring. Thanks to the sweet magic spell cast on the delicious chicken. Then, people who were awake on the ship last night were the entire ship's crew, as well as those who held a deep-rooted hatred of chicken, and the new passenger of the ship, Ikomina. In other words, it would have been possible for you to utilize the inertia from the ship's emergency stop to latch shut the door. But if the events had indeed panned out as you claim, wouldn't all the latches on the ship lock, causing a huge commotion? No, I don't think so. What? Oh, I get it. Last night, we all had our meals within our respective cabins. And then, we were overcome with incredible drowsiness and went to sleep. Consequently, all the passengers were in their own cabin. Nothing would be out of place if they woke up to find the latch on their cabin door shut. And that is why not a single soul noticed anything unusual. In other words, for the sake of shutting merely one latch on the ship, the culprit forced the SS Alclair to make an emergency stop. You talk on and on about this, but what is your point? It is just as you have heard. There is no doubt that there was a third party present at the crime scene. For the purpose of framing someone else, they left a message in Russian on the floor. And they desperately hid the piece of glass that could serve as evidence. To top it all off, they put the ship in an emergency stop to latch the scene's door shut. I must say, it was a job well done. But I am knowing nothing about any of that. Keep going with their funny jargon and big words if you want. We sailors are not caring about your fancy logic games. We do not believe until we are seeing with our own eyes. That's quite the fine maxim you have there. Huh? In truth, I am of the same belief. What is seen by one's own eyes is everything. Master Naruhodo. Yes. Can you hear it? Cries of confession reverberate throughout the ship. Cries of confession? I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't have any idea what you... Proof of the crime. It is not the ears that hear that voiceless voice. Rather, it is none other than the eyes. All stems from observation. You still make no sense. What is your point? Now, let's begin. This time, once and for all. For the sake of reaching the final truth, we'll begin the theater of logic and reason. Now, with that said, it's a pleasure to be working with you, Master Naruhodo. Mr. Holmes, what on earth is this? It's just as I've said, we are to observe them. Observe them? At the moment when Kazuma passed away, some individual had tampered with various things at the crime scene. And we are to locate the trace of that happening, right? Exactly. You catch on quickly. I got it. I'll give it a shot. I'll point out the traces of the third party present at the scene of the crime. Arm. Very thick. Damn it, that. Those sure are some impressive arms. They're covered in thick hair. They're very worthy of a sailor. It brings out the whole man of the sea image. I'd be done in for sure if I got hit by one of those arms. Naruhodo? I believe that we may have drifted a bit too far off topic. Sorry, I just couldn't see what was so great about having arms so absurdly big. The ears. You want me to point out the ears? Was there an earring dropped or something? Her dainty ears, resembling pink seashells, peeping out of her beautiful hair. Oh, what's that? There's something attached to her ears. Ah, that's most likely the metal fitting of her earring. Earring, huh? It's incredibly tiny. It's likely that the decoration had broken off. Right now, all that's left is just the metal attachment. Seems that Ikomina has yet to realize that the decoration has broken off. Interesting. Investigate the— oh! Her dainty ears, resembling pink seashells, are resembling how— oh. There seems to be something hanging down from her ear. As an earring, it looks like a crescent moon shaped out of wood. Ah, it's so very lovely. Women sure love accessorizing, don't they? Hair and fingernails aren't enough. They hang things from their ears now, too. Loveliness is a girl's eternal aspiration, you see. Oh, hold up. Hold up. Hey, look at this. There's an obvious stain over here. You're right. It appears to be ink. Ink. And this color. I have a good idea what this could be.
Hi!
Mr. Stroganoff, you have a purple stain on your white uniform. Huh? Oh, must be smudged from somewhere. Would you happen to know anything about that stain? What are you saying? As of this moment, we are still unable to pinpoint the significance of that stain. How about we go ahead and clear that up? That purple stain clinging onto Mr. Stroganoff's uniform. I believe it is obvious what its true identity is. Exactly. Well then, kindly present that piece of evidence, if you would. Yes, sir. Those traces left on Mr. Stroganoff's uniform. The evidence that point towards their true nature is... where... It must be the journal. I was hoping for like a picture of the room, but
Hi!
uh-oh. What in the world is that supposed to mean? Uh-oh. It's probably the wardrobe message then. Oh, Master Naruhodo, every once in a while, a certain thought crosses my mind. Yes? What is it? The true nature of the purple marks must be, of course, purple, no? Master Naruhodo, just what color was your answer right now? Hiding me in a gentlemanly way. Naruhodo's face is looking more purple right now. Anyway, I guess I should be looking for something that's purple. This is the game hint. This is the evidence. Is this purple? It doesn't look purple. I actually never investigated this, huh? There's a little bit of paste left on the back of the seal. Actually made out of cooked rice. Cooked rice? Really? Yeah, we mashed up the rice from dinner to make the glue. What a shame. Shame? Well, for a stowaway like me, Sogi's leftovers are practically my lifeline. Something as simple as mashed up rice It doesn't matter life and death. I suppose being a stowaway really is hard work. Well, I have some glue on board with me. Please feel free to use it tonight. Yes, I'll do that. Thank you very much. But I wouldn't need it anyway. Did you write this, Naruto? Strokes are so heavy. That's to show the heaviness of my heart that was stuffed into that wardrobe. If I had been found, they would have thrown me into the cold winter sea. I'm sure those Russian sailors wouldn't really done that. Well, I guess not. At most, they would have made you wash dishes in the kitchen until you died. I think that already be pretty horrible in its own right. Try this then. Is this purple? Oh, right here. Written in purple ink.
Hi!
The true identity of that stain is ink. Ink, you say? Purple ink. A most uncommon color. Oh. You seem to have realized the meaning behind that. The Russian words on the floor of the scene were written with purple ink. It's the exact same color as the stain on your uniform. If the ink had dried, then it would have been impossible for it to stain. Therefore, immediately following the event of that ink spill, you were present in the cabin. Fine, I talk. I tell you everything I did. First, I tamper with evidence in dead exchange student's cabin. I shut latch using ship's emergency stop. All to divert suspicion away from Princess. Petrov. It's okay, Princess. I do the talking. It was around 1 a.m. I had been keeping watch on that corridor. Princess, face pale with fear, ran over to me. Petrov, help! Please. When we reached cabin, the door was open. One look into cabin, and I saw exchange student collapse onto floor. What the hell happened here? Don't tell anyone. But my friend... Princess told the truth. What happened in cabin is exactly what she said. Kin ran into Asogi's cabin through the air duct. Asogi then tumbled over with that kitten around his feet, ending his life. Yeah, exactly. And following that, Miss Nikomina had visited the cabin next door, correct? It was there she found the victim's corpse. I surmised that would be the case. Yeah, she heard fall, so she went to look. Right, Princess? Cabin door was not locked shut. Princess could tell in single glance what happened in that room. I have one thing that I would like to confirm. What is it? By the time you had visited Kazuma's cabin, Nikomina, Kazuma had already passed. Is that correct? Huh? Huh? Yes, that is what I said. When Princess peeked into cabin, exchange student was... I am asking Nikomina. Nikomina, your answer? Ah. Oh? Yes, it is right. I look inside cabin. Man in black on floor, not moving. Got so scared. I understand. I will believe those words. This time, for sure. That must be the truth behind Asogi's death. Oh yes, that reminds me. There's something I forgot. Mr. Holmes? Look at this photograph. This is something I took myself. The cause of death was fracture of the cervical spine. His death was most likely instant. The cause of all that was a kitten that unfortunately caught his feet and tripped him. However, if that was indeed the case, I'd like you to take a look at this photo. Somehow, I feel there is an unnatural element in it. What do you mean? Unnatural? Master Naruto, what is your opinion on the matter? Huh? Sir. Sogi's life ended unfortunately due to an accidental fall. Supposedly, an unnatural element lies within this photo. It's... My thinking is that a natural. I mean, he stopped partway through the message, I guess, but it's not his writing anyway. Also, what is this? Beck. Let's see. His fist is closed. I kind of feel like this isn't anything, but I really want to present the fist. I want to do it. If he had fallen forward as a result, oh, it is, yo, nice. If he had fallen forward as a result of an unfortunate accident, and his fist feels jarringly out of place. My thoughts exactly. Usually, if one were to fall, their hands would naturally be open. Despite that, the victim's left hand was clasped firmly in a fist. Yes, almost as if he was holding something inside that fist. What? And so you see, I went ahead and investigated the contents of that victim's fist earlier. Huh? Now what do you suppose came out, ladies and gentlemen? Let us see. Please, let us see. Yes, yes, of course. I'll let you see all you wish. Yep. It was this right here. Might this be a crescent moon adorned with a diamond? Indeed. This does seem like the world's most beautiful crescent moon. What of it? I wonder what this could mean. I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. That's the definition of observation, Master Naruto. Huh? Truth will soon be clear to all. That crescent moon in his grasp must have come from somewhere. Now, Master Naruto, it's finally time for the last clue. Just what in the world will this crescent moon reveal to us? Observe with your own two eyes. Alright, this is the left here. Ikomina? I can see a crescent moon hanging from your ear. Ah! What? But your other ear is lacking that same crescent moon. It looks like the delicate decoration was broken off. And furthermore, the crescent moon was discovered in the victim's hand. The truth that I gather from these facts can lead to only one conclusion. Don't you agree, Master Naruhodo? Yes. Ikumina, Sogi had ripped this crescent moon from your ear. It's very likely that happened just before he fell onto the ground. So, in other words, last night, in the instant Asogi had fallen over, you were standing right in front of him. You must know what I mean. The earring was in reaching distance of his extended hand. Then why? Why had Asogi done something like that? He plucked the earring off of your ear. Even though he was dead, he kept clinging onto it. Oh. Princess. This time, you'll have to face the music. Nobody can protect you. Please answer me, Minikumina. Last night, just what did you do to Asogi? Yeah. Oh. Thinking now, too many things happened yesterday. Running from Shanghai, rowboat looking for big steamship at night, and then, after such a wild day, I sit and rest in my cabin. No, wait! When Kitty ran into air duct, I turned pale. I whistle and call for Kitty. I tried to bring her back with toys, but Kitty just would not come back. What are you doing at such a late hour, detective? Ah. Do pardon my manners, my lady. I was certain that an acquaintance of mine had come for a visit. Asian exchange student was polite, understanding too. He helped look for Blackie and promised to keep secret. But as I grabbed Blackie, tried to leave cabin. Excuse me, my lady. Please wait a moment. What? I can't help but feel as if I've seen your face somewhere before. Huh? Right. You are the Russian ballerina, Miss Borskovich. Am I mistaken? What? No, I am not knowing that person. My heart freezed in terror. I know this was dangerous discovery. Why did Asian exchange student recognize Russian ballerina? I was struck by the beauty of that public ballet performance I had seen in Japan. However, tell me, why might you be on this ship? As I recall, shouldn't you be heading to Shanghai right now? I know that I could not trick him. I had to make friends with him so he would stay quiet. No other option. I see. You've defected. Please, do not tell anyone about Nico. If that's the case, please wait a moment. There's someone who I wish to discuss this with. He is going to ring bell and shout ship's captain. Exchange student not sympathetic at all, after all. That one instant felt so long, but all this happened at once. Wait! Could not help but yell to him. Kitty jumped out of my arms and ran to the exchange student's feet. And then, when he turned to look at back, oh God. I pushed him away hard as I could. After that, I am remembering nothing. Why push him? Still not sure. I just wanted to stop him. Wanted to stop him from telling anyone. And it was then that you decided to call for help. Specifically, help from Mr. Stroganoff, the man guarding the hallway. I heard a scream and loud noise. I rushed to scene. In front of cabin, Princess was shaking. She said, Pietro, help! If I am caught, there is no place left to run. And so you tampered with the crime scene in Asogi's cabin? All to divert any suspicion away from the passenger in the cabin next door? Yes, it's correct. I checked both corpse and whole cabin, to be sure. Then, I found him. Stowaway was sleeping like baby inside wardrobe. That would be me. At that point, you must have schemed to have the entire crime pinned on that stowaway. Is that correct? I closed wardrobe and struck strange seal back on door. Thanks to that, it became Susato's chance to unload her doubts on me. I moved corpse and wrote words using ink spilled on floor. Culprit hiding inside wardrobe. On a related note, which one of you cleaned up the broken glass? I did it. I picked up glass shards. Oh, did you? The room was so dark. Only found half. After this, I returned Princess to cabin and add final touches. And so you pushed the alarm button along the corridor? That is correct. Thus, the SS Alclair resorted to an emergency stop close to 2 hours past midnight. Door latch shut, thereby completing the creation of our locked room. Excuse me, Ikumina. Did I have a word with you? Yes? Last night, when you explained your defection to Asogi, he looked as if he was going to notify the captain. Therefore, you pushed him. You said that yourself, right? Yes, right. But hypothetically speaking, even if you rang the bell to call the captain, every single sailor on the ship is an ally of yours, right? What reason would you have to worry? The first thing that exchange student has said struck me with fear. The first thing he said? What are you doing at such a late hour, detective? You pardon my manners, my lady. I was certain that an acquaintance of mine had come for a visit. Detective. Acquaintance. That means Sir Asogi was referring to me, responsible as his bodyguard. If he told this detective, I know that I would be arrested. So, before he could ring bell... Before you continue, Nikumina, I cannot help but be bothered by something. Are you sure that Kazuma really planned to ring the bell? Huh? Naruhodo, what are your thoughts? I'm not him, so I can't say for certain, but... At the very least, I do know one thing. Sogi isn't the kind of person to call for extra brawn out of nowhere. But he really walked towards Bell. He wanted to ring it. Deport me to Russia. Well, Master Naruhodo, it appears we are in need of one last reasoning session. Huh? Reasoning, you say? What did the victim actually try to do in that moment? Just what What could have laid before his eyes? How about we take a look for ourselves? Now, I trust you remember where the victim was located in the cabin, yes? Yes, I can clearly recall anything about that cabin. Even if I was crammed within that wardrobe, I still spent practically my entire voyage in that cabin. Then, this must be what Kazuma saw last night. Yes, there's no doubt about it. I trust you are ready, then, Master Naruhodo. Yes, today, I learned something important. Within one line's of sight, there exists a truth you may not even realize. And yet, in order to bring that truth to light, you can't overlook anything that lies within that line of sight, no matter how slight. When Asogi turned his back to Nikomina, this is what lay in his line of sight. Considering the circumstances last night, it's true that it would have appeared as if Asogi was about to ring the call bell. Indubitably. However, besides that call bell was a wardrobe. Wardrobe. And within that wardrobe was his friend, sleeping ever so soundly. Nikomina, please remember, the victim, Kazuma, what did he say at that moment? If that's the case, please wait for a moment. There's someone who I wish to discuss this with. Discuss? He had no intention of calling the crew. He simply wanted to wake up his good friend and discuss how they could help you. Is there anything we can do? Probably something like that. No! Of course, as it stands now, it is impossible to know the full truth. But as for what laid within Kazuma's line of sight, you should have made sure what that was. Nikomina. Thank you for telling us the truth in the end. However, the fact that you took away his life will never disappear. Please, don't ever forget that. I am sorry. Truly, very sorry. Thus, curtains lowered quietly on the incident involving the SS Eau Claire. True, he didn't die to cat, but can't believe he's actually dead. That really sucks. This theme owned. So what will happen to Nikomina? She is to be turned over to British Empire Scotland Yard. Will she be granted asylum? Won't Russia demand that she be handed over to them? Our great British detective plans to negotiate with the immigration office on that matter. Mr. Holmes? Then, will she never return to Russia? I would assume so. Even if she wishes to in the future, she will not ever be able to return to her homeland. That is what it means to defect. I see. I'm very sorry. Stroganoff. Only want to help the princess, but you lose best friend. I did not think of your feelings. Princess and I will turn ourselves over to Scotland Yard. I see. In any case, thank you for returning my freedom. No matter how much I mourn Asogi, pain will never go away. Good luck with Nikomina. Thank you. Now then, it will be best to prepare for disembarkment soon. The ship will arrive in Hong Kong tomorrow. I am deeply sorry, but how about turning you over to the consul? You will be repatriated to your home country. I understand. I was a stowaway, after all. I wasn't going to be overlooked. With that said, shall we return to the cabin? My exchange program to Britain, too, has ended before it even began. The two of us laughed so much as we made plans to wreak havoc in London. Now, it just feels like a far-off memory. Hmm? I can hear someone sobbing. Usato. Oh, oh my. How long have you been there? I just got here. Detective Hosonaga just told me to start preparing to disembark the ship. I still find this whole matter quite unbelievable. I think someone's life could end so quickly, so prematurely. Usato. Kazuma set out on this grand journey whilst holding onto a grand dream. And then someone showed up and heartlessly cut that dream apart into pieces. I will never let them get away with this. At least, that was what I thought. Said, truth of the matter, just an unfortunate collection of consecutive little accidents. It's too much. Just much too fleeting. It really is. I am afraid that I cannot offer any words of apology for that matter. Detective, my duty was to ensure that Asogi would made his voyage to the British Empire safely. Not only was I unable to accomplish that, but I also made his friends suffer. I, Hosonaga, will do anything you ask as a means of apology. Detective Hosonaga, I don't want to pin the blame on you. As you can see, I'm finally free at last. Huh? Did I surprise you there, Master Naruhodo? What on earth are you doing? It's nothing, really. It's just that, you see, those handcuffs have been fully burned into my memory. If they were to go away, it would tip the balance. I'd find it difficult to look at you again. Huh? As commemoration, I'll leave them hanging from your wrists. You are a stowaway, after all. Just how mean can he be? Mr. Holmes. I would like to thank you for everything you have done on this voyage. Please accept my humble gratitude from the bottom of my heart. No, I feel the same way. I apologize for my late manners. What happened to your friend was truly a pity. I express my sincere condolences. I pray that you study enough in Britain for his part as well. Unfortunately, that will not be happening. We will be disembarking at the next port, Hong Kong. We will then report to the consul on site and make our way back to Japan. Huh? Wait, please. Wasn't it just supposed to be me, the stowaway, who was supposed to go back? There is an agreement between both countries over who the exchange students would be. Together, one attorney and one legal assistant. Together. Now that the lawyer, Sogi, has passed away, the exchange program has to be suspended. There's no other choice. Doesn't matter what happens to me. Usato shouldn't be involved. Oh, come now. The solution is simple. In other words, as long as there is another attorney, your journey can continue. But there isn't anyone else who can fulfill the qualifications of the attorney. Qualifications? Don't make me laugh. Your country's qualifications hold no weight whatsoever in the British Empire, anyway. Then, come what may, there's still 1 month left until this ship reaches London. During that time, I do not think it will be impossible to find a substitute attorney. I see. Hey, Susato? Yes? What is it? Could I possibly fill that role? What? But you are not an attorney. Oh, could you possibly be a law student? No, not exactly. If that is the case, that possibility is no more than a dead end. However, there's still 1 month left before we reach London. Isn't that right, Master Naruhodo? I'll study everything I need to become an attorney throughout that entire month. Naruhodo. Ridiculous. Just what can you do in only 40 days? I won't know until I try. 40 days. I'll study as if my life depends on it. So please, just give me a chance. If you can't acknowledge me as an attorney by the time we reach London, I'll accept whatever punishment there is. Why would you do something so reckless? So he once told me. It was something he absolutely had to do in the British Empire. And to that end, he would be willing to make whatever sacrifices were necessary. I don't want his wish to die in a place like this. And, of course, I'm doing this for myself as well. I will become an attorney. I swear it. What do you think, Sato? I think it's a wonderful idea. Sato. Your thoughts, Four-Eyed Detective? On what? One attorney and one legal assistant. The numbers are a proper match, no? No. That's just plain codswallop. I think it's just fine. It seems like it'd be fun. But fun? It's more potentially fun than, for example, studio rules. And that's all there is to it. The only one thinking that's all there is to it is you. And furthermore, what's crucial isn't someone's qualifications, rather their character. Wouldn't you say? Even you have seen it with your own eyes. Today, from the moment he woke up, even this very instant, faced with the pain of his friend's death, along with being suspected as the murderer, you witnessed the accomplishments he had made whilst carrying the weight of that burden. I understand. I'll make sure our country's government understands the situation. Detective Hosonaga, come to think of it, I did promise you this just earlier. I promised that I would do anything you asked as a means of apology. Thank you so much, Detective Hosonaga. Now then, I must make my way to the captain's quarters. I must report to our country about this matter and discuss our next course of actions. Do you truly intend to begin studying law from here on? Yes, and if it's okay with you, could you possibly teach me everything about being an attorney? Of course, I'd be happy to lend a hand. I'm a legal assistant, after all. Thank you so much. Now, following that, Naruhodo, if it would please you, I would like you to accept this. What? Are you sure I should have this? I'm sure Kazuma would wish for this as well. It is a famed blade that has been passed down to the Asogi family for generations. I am told its name is Karma. Okay, I'll gladly accept this. So, once again, I look forward to working with you, Susato. I will be looking forward to working with you as well, Naruhodo. I will not allow you to even a single moment's rest throughout the next 40 days. Uh-oh. I shall follow through with you thoroughly. Of course. I wouldn't have it any other way. Just, put me back in the wardrobe, man. Truth is, I have one more request to ask of you. Huh? Oh yes. What might that be? Please. Toss me 3 times. Huh? During the investigation, it was always clear that you would never do anything to hurt your dear friend Kazuma. That is undeniable. And I knew that from the very beginning. Despite that, however, I came to suspect you. No matter how shaken up I may have been, it was an awful thing to do. No, it was completely understandable in that situation. The room was locked from the inside, and I was a stowaway to prove— No! I do not want to hear any excuses! The reason does not matter. Tossing you at all was terrible. And not just once, but 5 times. Pretty sure she didn't do it that much. So come on, do it. Toss me right over, with no hesitation. No, no, no. I've never tossed anyone before in the first place. Yes, well, it is indeed not something that just anyone can do. But Mr. Holmes, I've seen it countless times already, but I still can't get enough of that wonderful toss. Just where was he watching that from? I suppose that would be an example of your so-called Japanese martial arts? Yes, it is a technique passed down from long ago, but with my own unique style. It's apparently called the Susato toss. If you ever get tossed, you'll be seeing stars. Oh, that is quite intriguing. You see, I happen to be quite the skilled boxer. Why is he dancing now? If you would be so kind, would you teach me that wonderful toss of yours? That's not legal in boxing, however. It would be my honor. Might you try tossing something now, then? It would be a good place to start my studies. I would be glad to. No. Now then, Naruhodo, you excuse me. Huh? Oh! That is how it is done. The whole toss has to come from your gut. Amazing! So this is the legendary technique, the Susato toss. No, this would be the deadly Susato drop. Can you believe there were 2 murders on the ship? Within my fading consciousness, the scene from that night flashed by my head for an instant. Karma? Yes. This is the great katana passed down through the Asogi generation for generation, the Shogi family for generations. I'm still surprised that the government was okay with it. Bringing a Japanese sword into the British Empire on an exchange program is a little... Katana lies at the heart of our culture. I can't allow this to leave my side. No matter what, it'll always be here, guiding me forward. That's what I believe. One great strike to end all evil. A kind of attitude really suits you. Yeah, that sounds about right. There is something I absolutely have to do, no matter what. To that end, I will make whatever sacrifices are necessary. And I would be grateful if you would see that through with me. Of course, I swear it. I'll see this through with you to the very end. I knew you would say that. But as Sogi said that moment about what he had to do, I still don't fully understand what that goal might be. But I'll seek it out with my own eyes. In the British Empire's capital, London. Guess we won't find out what that is until the end of the game. Well, that was fun. I wish Asogi didn't have to die. I wish your mentor didn't have to die in another Ace Attorney game. But it is what it is, I guess. Alright. That was case 2. Case 2 took about as long as case 1, actually. Which is maybe a little bit longer. But it's very close in length. But yeah, I will stop for now. But as before, I will show the beginning of the next episode as a teaser. We can see the other episodes. Anyway. Take a look at episode 3.
記録を読み返すと、あれは19世紀の終わり、厳しい冬のことだった。事件は霧深い深夜のロンドンの街路をひた走る乗り合い馬車の中で起こった。馬車には被害者と容疑者の両名のみ、複数の人間がその事件を目撃した。一体誰が想像しただろうか、この単純極まりない事件があのような恐ろしい結末を迎えることになろうとは。我が友シャーロック・ホームズはあの事件を振り返ってこう言った。思えばあの事件こそは序曲だったのかもしれないね。忘れがたきあの日本人留学生と演じた長い競争曲の始まりだ。
すごい。これって本当に駅なのでしょうか。
駅にせよ違うにせよ、これほどの建造物は見たことがございませんね。
蒸気機関車があんなにたくさん。何なんだこの国は。
なんだか夢みたいです。
これが大英帝国の帝都。
どうあんたたち。
はい。
乗りなよ。どこへだって連れて行ってやるぜ。
それでは官庁街の高等法院へお願いします。
いいとも。あんたたち最近流行りの留学生ってやつかい。そうかい。それなら楽しんでいってくれよな。ようこそ世界の中心、大英帝国の帝都ロンドンへ。
Well, we've landed in London. I guess that's where we'll be next time I'll stream.